Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Your Disabled Joy. My name is Nico and I use he, him pronouns. For a visual description, I'm a white man with parted blonde hair, large blue and brown spectacles, and a checkered white, orange, and blue dress shirt. I'm seated in front of two bookcases and a purple wall. And, like about 20% of people worldwide, I'm disabled. Non-disabled people might see our lives and experiences as tragic, pitiful, sad, but I don't know, guys. I've been disabled a pretty long time now, and I think there's also room for disabled joy. The disability community has as many opinions as it has members, which is why I've asked my friend Ian here with me today to talk about disabled joy. Ian, hi, thanks for joining us.
Hi, Nico. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Can you share a joyful memory with me? It could have to do with your disability, or it could be totally separate. Both are valid.
Sure. So certainly a very significant joyful memory for me, quite frankly, was when I first had my trach removed. I live with a condition called congenital central hypoventilation syndrome, which, among other things, means I do not have the autonomic response to breathe. And so from about the time that I was about 3 weeks old in the NICU in the hospital in Connecticut, to the time that I was 8 years old, I had a trach, which was a tube, an adapter that was out of my neck and allowed for emergency respiratory access for a ventilator, which I used to keep myself ventilated at night. That would breathe for me and still does to this day. However, when I turned 8 years old, and this was a very exciting thing, my doctors decided that I was stable enough in my condition to be able to have the trach removed and to transition over to a nasal mask, as many people use with CPAP machines and sleep apnea today. This allowed for me to walk around in a building like the State House that is very public facing, where I work today in Massachusetts. I work in the Massachusetts State House as a staffer for a state representative. And certainly, as we talk about stigmas, and as we talk about not only stigmas with physical appearance with people who live with disabilities, but also stigmas for the people themselves that they feel when they know that they are living with a disability. And even if people around them, and I certainly know I have experience with this, even people who are around them, they interact with every day, may not know what that person is living with and the disability that they are adapting to on a daily basis in their daily activities, that sometimes there's internalized stigma that each of us deal with every day. And so, that is one of my most joyful memories was, okay, yes, I still do live with some internalized stigma that I am coping with and trying to get better about every day and improve on every day. But that was a very special day for me, very happy memory to have that, no longer have the trach, and to be able to walk around and not have that outward visual stigma that I know that I experienced in elementary school before having it removed.
Thank you so much, Ian. Yes, all of us everywhere are always trying to unlearn our own internalized ableism. I see you in that, definitely. How has your disability kind of intersected or perhaps even impacted how you pursue joy and pursue happiness in life?
I'm going to try and keep this as positive as possible, Nico.
Okay.
But certainly, as I said before, the condition that I have, CCHS, does affect my ability to do everyday activities. And because I have life support equipment, the ventilator that I mentioned, it does impact my ability to have social interactions that other people, other able people, may not have to deal with, such as sleepovers or other things in other environments, especially international travel or flights and such things like that. I usually do not travel alone. When I travel on a flight or something like that, I either travel with my family or I have to arrange ahead of time to have a travel buddy. But in terms of the pursuit of happiness and joy, I've also found that living with a disability has also changed my philosophy about life and kind of how I approach each day. And this was something that I think I really came to terms with and explored with myself when I turned 18 and was looking at what I wanted to do to pursue fulfillment in an adult life after school and going into high school and going into college. And so I've really found that the pursuit of fulfillment and happiness and joy for me is in part on the impact and the value that I can have in others' lives. I have found that I chose the path that I'm working in right now, the career I'm working in right now, being a staffer in the State House of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, in part because there is such a large part of this that does impact others' lives, and we try and do so in a positive way every day. One of the major things that I do every day is something called constituent services, where members of the public that my boss represents calls the office for assistance in various matters, whether it's unemployment or seeking housing assistance, or even seeking assistance with the agencies that are responsible for providing services for people who live with disabilities. And so, even though this job may not pay as much as some others might, I do feel fulfillment and joy and happiness in what I do every day, because I do feel like being able to help other people, it really, really fulfills that aspect to it. I'm less inclined to have personal ambitions or personal accumulations of wealth as a main motivator for happiness and joy for me, mainly because living with disability, and my bridge disability in particular, and is that there is an inherent level of risk and some level of danger in the condition that I live with. As I said, I don't breathe when I sleep. If I did mention that before, I apologize, but I don't breathe when I sleep. And so there is kind of an inherent level of risk that I have to cope with, and people who live with CCHS have to cope with every day, because the fact of the matter is, once they fall asleep, quite frankly, they're trusting their machine, their ventilator, to take care of them and breathe for them. But there's always a risk that we kind of have to accept that that might not happen. So I personally, that changed my philosophy on personal ambition, personal wealth accumulation, and more about the impact that I have on the world and the people around me, to try and pursue happiness and joy and a positive impact in that way.
That's really heartwarming to hear. And I think it really coincides with what I'm hearing as I conduct these interviews, where the people who have relied upon safety nets and relied upon mutual aid as children or as younger people grow into those people who help maintain those social nets and keep those resources going. So I see you in that. Thank you for that work. That's important stuff, man. Tell me, what one thing do you want the general public to know about disabled life and about disabled quality of life?
Okay, so this is, I may get a little more serious here.
Okay.
I'll try not to get too macabre. But when it comes to my experience with living with a disability, I find that advocacy is an everyday 24/7 job for what my needs are to best protect myself, provide for myself, care for myself, and meet the needs that I live with and have to adapt to living with my disability every day. Certainly, as I mentioned, our families are also a big part of what it's like to grow up with a disability. But then when we turn into adults, we have to take it upon ourselves to be the advocates that our families may have been for us. And certainly the handing off of that baton certainly changes your aspect into what daily life is like, and the amount of work that needs to go in just to do basic things that other people may take for granted every day. And so I'm trying to just recoup the question here. But so I do find that quality of life. I do find that having to encounter those things and work with services and agencies and equipment companies and all the aspects that may be necessary for someone to live with a disability and make sure they're taking care of themselves and meeting their needs. If we do not receive the care that we need, if we do not have access to the services that we need, if we do not have the supports that we need, that can impact our health and that can impact our quality of life, but not also our safety. And I think everyone living with a disability or living without a disability, everyone has a right to be healthy, to be safe, and to be able to have the ability to take care of themselves and pursue that happiness and joy that we were talking about before. And so I do think that certainly there's a little bit more work that may go into what it takes for us to live every life, but for someone who lives with every day of our lives, for someone who lives with a disability. But I also think that we do have the potential and the opportunity to live a full, equal, equitable life that can be fulfilling and happy, as long as those services and those resources are available as they should be for everyone who does live with a disability.
Absolutely. Disabled people have every right to fully engage with their communities and their social circles as well. Thank you so much. My last planned question is a real softball. It's one that I ask all my interviewees, regardless of project. Is there a recent win that you're celebrating that you want to name so that we can celebrate it along with you? Or if not, what cool things are you doing? What projects do you have going on? If you're open to connecting, where can people find you online? Friend, this is where you get to promote yourself, where you get to brag. So please, let's hear it.
All right. I'll try not to brag too much. I do have two things that I did want to mention. I had mentioned that I'm working in the State House of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and I work as a staffer for a state representative. I worked 6 years in accounting, and I really had burnout and really ground myself. I thought it was a practical job to pursue because I could make more money. However, after burning out, I really decided if I wanted to work hard and focus every day, that I wanted to work on something that I was passionate about. And as I had talked about before about fulfillment and wanting to have a positive impact in others' lives, I'm very happy that after leaving accounting in 2018, within a year, I was able to find employment within the State House and pursue this new career that I really do find fulfilling and I love going to every day. So that's a big, not everyone gets to work in a career that they truly find fulfilling and they're motivated and ambitious about every day. And they really feel rewarded in doing. So that's a big win for me. And in another way, another big win recently, I actually was able to meet a partner just over 2 years ago, and we recently celebrated our engagement. And so I'm very happy. It's certainly an interesting circumstance. There's a little bit to it that it also shed some light on what it's like to live with a disability, especially in certain states and perhaps what's not available in other states. But in Massachusetts, we have a program called Mass Health that has really, even with employer-based health insurance, it really offers a safety net for those services and equipment that are necessary that aren't covered by private insurance. So Mass Health has really helped me receive the services and receive the equipment that I need without breaking the bank, quite frankly. And so I met my partner and we decided to get engaged, and she lives in Maine. And so one of the things that we're navigating living with my disability, and she also lives with a disability as well, a different disability than I live with. And she owns a house up in Maine. She knows she wants to stay in Maine. But I know that in order to receive the care and the resources that I need to be safe and healthy and live a full and equitable life, I need to stay in Massachusetts so I can keep my Mass Health. And so until we have universal health care in this country, there are restrictions on the best places and the safest places for people to live, depending on what their disability is and depending on what services and insurance are offered in those states. So as happy as I am to be engaged to my partner and to really feel like I've met the person that I have the most connection with and really the most accepting person that I've ever met, the most caring and loving person that I've ever met in my life with the disability that I live with every day, being a part of our relationship, that is a major win for me. As for social media, I am open to any questions. Anyone wants to reach out to me, I'm always available on Facebook. My name is Ian Hatfield, IAN Hatfield, Hatfield. You can find me on Facebook by that. I also have Twitter and I also have Instagram, but I don't use those as frequently. And then I also have a couple gamer tags too. If anyone does want to game, I have a Discord account, but generally my gamer tag across all platforms is BU Mountain Dude. That is BU Mountain is in the geographical, MOUNTAIN, and then Dude is DUDE. On a couple of my gamer tags, it's DEWD. But if you have any questions, feel free to Facebook me, and I can certainly clarify based on which platform you can connect with me by.
That's very specific. Ian, thank you so much for helping me out with this project. I love checking in with you. I wish we could find more time. Thank you so much for all that you're doing.
Thank you. One more point, Nico. So I don't know if you see this pin that I'm wearing on my lapel on my jacket here, but this is the recent logo. I think either last year or the year before, the CCHS Foundation came out with a pin that's a lightning bug with a DNA helix on it underneath it. And one of the great things about working at the Massachusetts State House is we meet with advocates every day on different pieces of legislation. And it's a great opportunity to be able to wear this pin. And I actually had someone that I was meeting with today as part of my job ask me about the pin and what it stood for. So I'm really glad, honored, and grateful to be in a position where I'm able to raise awareness about the disability that I live with, and raise awareness so that people know more about it and can look online to see and learn more about it as well, especially since it is a rare genetic disease as well, not something that many people hear of on a regular basis.
Absolutely. And if people do want to learn more about CCHS, they can go right to cchsnetwork.org to learn more about our condition. Ian, thank you so much. I do have another respondent to get to. I'm wishing you all the best, my friend. Audience, tune in next time, and remember, I'm rooting for you.